It's Tuesday, and that can mean only one thing: MBE Heroes. And today, John, we're not long back from... is it the movie of the year?
I think it is a movie of the year, Stephen, yes.
This is a year where we're getting the final Skywalker film, but listen, we're talking
final
about...
Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah, Avengers.
It's a depressing year.
Endgame.
But yeah, it's an exhilarating year as well.
Yes, we're trying to absorb this monster of a film. 3 hours and 2 minutes long, John.
And it felt like 2 hours.
It did. That's one of the things I was wanting to ask you, how, the running time of this, we were not concerned about, but having toilet breaks, etc., wasn't really on the schedule for us going into this. I didn't take a drink, to be honest with you. I just thought, no, I can't do this because I don't want to miss a thing. But you're right, it flew in, absolutely flew in. Yeah. Didn't feel like 3 hours at all. I thought, the first half of this film was very slow burning. But we've talked about it since. I think they had to have that come down after the events of Infinity War. Had to re-establish their connection as a team. They had to realise what they had to do. They did go back to that garden that Nebula located.
The Philippines.
The Philippines, where they had to go back to. Squared up to Thanos, cut his head off, didn't change a thing.
That was very shocking.
Yeah,
Steve. Just getting into that beginning of the film as a whole, obviously we start with Hawkeye, where he was at the events of the finger. Snap, I should say. Clip, whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah. He's also with his family. He's got the tag on, the same as Scott Lang, under house arrest. He's out playing, and then obviously the tragic moment, his young daughter goes to fetch the ball, turns to dust, he turns round, she's not there. That was quite an emotional sucker punch to start a film with like this nature. And as you did say, Stephen, it was very slow paced the first hour or so, and I felt like it went to a place most Avengers films have never even dared to go to. Emotional, dark, quiet, sort of a place within all of these, I want to say, OG characters of the Avengers. And then also we do get that brief burst where we go to meet Thanos again. I think it's Nebula. Is it Nebula? It is Nebula, isn't it? It says he's on his own. There's no armies. No, it was Captain Marvel. She went down as a recon, and she came back up and says, him.
That was the thing I was going to just...
And we were expecting a Titanic sort of a battle again.
In the trailer, we got to see Tony Stark in his predicament.
I forgot about that as well.
And as you said, Captain Marvel comes to the rescue. I kind of saw that coming, to be honest with you. If it was going to be anybody, it had to be someone that could withstand the...
And certainly when you get into the actual film, Stephen, you realise how much of a predicament he's in. He's looking skin and bones, very, very emaciated, and it was almost ever going to be Captain Marvel that came in to save him. I actually really liked that music. Sort of belied the situation that we're in. They're flicking these things and playing like a little game, him and Nebula. And it's upbeat music. It's like something straight out of Star-Lord's mixtape. And then it goes right dark again into the darker recesses of Tony Stark. He's speaking to his Iron Man helmet. Obviously relaying a message to Pepper Potts. Jesus Christ.
I thought you were about to say Peppa Pig.
I was,
But listen,
save me, Steve.
and as this takes us right up to, there was a bit of a heated discussion between Iron Man, or Tony Stark, and Steve Rogers, and there was a lot of,
pent-up emotion,
there was a lot of history between the two of them after what happened in Civil War, etc. And this was the first time the two of them were really, come to head over those events and stuff like that. And then we, as we said, you move into that, almost an interrogation scene with Thanos in that hut of his. He's badly wounded because they knew that he'd used the stones once more. And it's finally revealed why he's used them to destroy them. He's used the stones to destroy the stones, as he says.
I was cringing slightly, Stephen, when Thanos came on screen and he was kind of a gardening and he's putting herbs in this dish and stuff like that, and I'm like, good lord, it's like Alan Titchmarsh becomes Thanos. It's terrible, but thankfully it was short-lived. He was
just enjoying his life.
He was enjoying his life. Jolly old Thanos. Everybody else is in complete mourning and despair.
Yeah.
And he's gardening and creating stew in his little hut in the middle of the Philippines. But as you did say, short and sweet, they all go down and they overpower him very, very easily indeed. Captain Marvel's kind of doing something to his neck, strangling him. And then obviously...
I like that, yeah.
And they're interrogating him. They come to the conclusion that it's completely hopeless, it's useless. They can't reverse the events of Infinity War, certainly not immediately anyway.
Revenge.
And then Thor just chops his head off.
Yeah.
That surprised me. I wasn't expecting it.
No.
I was like, where the hell is this film going now? And then it goes black, Stephen, and we get that title card screen.
Yeah.
5 years later, very slow. That was very cool. Again, it's setting up where they're going. It's despair. They're kind of moving on with their lives, some of them. But as we do see Black Widow and Captain America, really can't move on with their lives, really, because they are just stuck in that rut, trying to save people. We get great moments throughout that sequence where Captain Marvel's going to group therapy sessions. We see Joe Russo, one of the directors, making
Captain America.
A cameo. Captain America, he's doing these group therapy sort of sessions. Joe Russo plays an openly gay character. I think that may be the first one in the MCU. Yeah. And we get a sense, little senses of where the characters are kind of, what they're doing. It develops them out. We see Captain America, what he'd be like if he wasn't an Avenger. He's still this heroic figure and he's wanting to help people.
I have to say, John, at this point in the film, and I said this to you afterwards when we came out of the theatre, I was starting to think, where is this going? You know, it's so slow burning. And I did think at one point, this film doesn't feel as good as Infinity War at this point, but it's a totally different film. It's a totally different pace. That was just one continuous rush to get to that point and then to the end of that film. And this one, you understand, this is the sort of the come down from those events. And the other thing that I thought was strange was how easily disposed Captain Marvel was. I have to go off now. You might not see me for a while. And I was actually quite surprised at that.
They did explain it well, though. She's basically saying this is one planet amongst thousands, if not millions of planets, and they're all experiencing the same thing, so I'm going to go off and help them. And that kind of took her out of the story. Obviously it did take her completely out of the story. We don't see her again until later on in the film. And it gave them a chance also to go into the original characters and develop them out a little bit, see what their situation was. We see Iron Man Tony Stark off with Pepper Potts. They have a daughter. He's became a family man. And that again just sets up his character arc in the film beautifully. I
think it sets up the emotional baggage, John,
exactly.
You know, because I think we both predicted what was going to happen in this film to an extent, but we did change our tune as the months rolled on. But I think that was a clever play on the writers to include a young daughter.
And a 3,000 line.
Yeah, I mean that was heartbreaking. But
it was.
At this point, this is the bit that really made us laugh, was this little rat comes
Scott
into
Lang,
and
saved
releases
by a rat.
Scott or Ant-Man from the quantum realm, John. Now we had these mad theories, didn't we? We had these theories. Captain Marvel was trapped in the quantum realm with him. She was the one that was going to set him free. Well, I think we were just overthinking.
Yeah, delusions of grandeur.
And we got a little rat that saved the day.
And you did say, Stephen, that the Russos, you felt that the Russos perhaps had seen all of the theories and the speculation about, is Captain Marvel going to come in, this celestial being, essentially, almost godlike figure, because of this Infinity Stone that she's harnessing for her power, or she's received a part of her power from. She's going to come in and save Scott Lang from the quantum realm. Turns out it's just a rat, and I think that was perhaps deliberate. That's kind of like, don't read too much into it, because we can do this. And it's probably one of my small little niggles.
It saved a lot of time, though.
It did save,
Let's just get him out of there.
And then he's obviously getting that great moment where he's get help, and this guy, the security guy, is looking at the screen and thinking, how on earth has this chap appeared here? 5 years, it's locked down. How is he there? He comes out though, reunites with the daughter. Obviously,
daughter, I thought her daughter, the lady that was playing her, was a little bit too old.
Yeah, I felt that as well.
Because I think this was only 5 years after Ant-Man and the Wasp, and she must have only been about maybe about 6 or 7. So she should only be maybe in her early teens, but she looked about 17 or 18.
Yeah, where's she getting the hygiene from? Paul Rudd's only about 5'9".
Must have been the mother.
He's not a tall guy. Yeah, it must have been the mother. She wasn't very tall either, though.
No.
I don't know what's going on there. Digress. So again, showing you the emotional resonance. It's very slow burn. We're looking right into these characters, the raison d'etre, if you'd like, and we're seeing the various different inner workings of them. We go and see Thor, and he is a very different guy to the person we've seen at the beginning of the film, and even in Infinity War. He is a slob. He's completely devastated. He's down in the dumps. He's depressed. The events of Infinity War, the loss of half of Asgard, the loss of his father, his mother, his brother. Yeah, it's had a real toll on him, and he's down in the dumps.
I think the way they executed, you know, that I can't remember what that axe is called.
I can't recall the axe. I always know Mjolnir.
I think that I think there was a bit of guilt involved in that as well, that he didn't go for the head.
The headshot, yeah.
You know, and I think he knew that he was that close to ending, you know, that scenario.
Stormbreaker,
that's
Stormbreaker.
It. And
easier to say than Mjolnir.
Yeah, it certainly is. I would remember that more. But the other key to this as well, John, and just staying on the topic of Scott Lang here, is that Scott Lang does say, you know, that it wasn't 5 years for him, it was 5 hours. Yeah. And this got his mind racing on, you know, the whole space-time continuum, how that works. He's like us. We're not that bright when it comes to things like this, but he knows that he knows there's a possibility. Is there a possibility? I need to talk to people that might be a little bit more qualified. Hank Pym clearly isn't there to assist. No. They go to Tony Stark, as you said, and
he's not interested.
No, he's not interested.
But you see that he's slightly captivated.
Yeah, you understand why he doesn't want to take that chance because of you know, he's got the young daughter. He's you know, Pepper is there as well. I'm not saying that he's content with his life. Obviously, I think there's always that guilt.
Yeah,
especially Peter Parker.
You see that scene where he's looking, he picks up the photograph.
You know, and I think that sort of spurred him on to look for this possibility, which he does finally get through. You know, just I can't remember what that technology it's called that he uses, but it's basically he's got his sort of system set up in his log cabin, and he's working through all the different possibilities to make this succeed.
And has that eureka moment?
Yeah, like he always does. And the other thing that I liked as well, John, was we were introduced to Bruce Banner. I know that you didn't really like this as much as myself. I thought the actual look,
I liked the concept.
The appearance of him was half and half, really, wasn't it? It wasn't full blown Hulk. It wasn't full blown Bruce Banner. It was an in between sort of persona that it was, you know, shown as. And
I didn't hate it. No. I didn't hate it. I liked you actually called it, Stephen, that he would combine in my predictions last week, and you were absolutely bang on. I liked the concept of him controlling the wrath. He realised the error of his ways, obviously, that he always felt it was a sickness, essentially. Obviously the Hulk coming out, but he realised not embrace it, combine the two, the brute strength of can't even say the name, Hulk, and also the cerebral intelligence of Bruce Banner. Combine the two together and you have a real force to be reckoned with, although we see, obviously, as that early sequence goes, he tries his hand at time travelling.
That was funny. I liked that.
Much hilarity, obviously.
With Scott Lang
is back. And that's a great thing, Stephen. Even in these quieter, earlier parts of the film, they're still utilising that humour beautifully. We hear the Build a Bear line.
That was great,
Obviously, Tony Stark when Rocket's speaking. We've got the moment, there's another moment, I think, with a peanut butter sandwich. And that's a great moment that I actually didn't touch upon either, Stephen. They're all checking in at the Avengers, obviously, complex. We've got War Machine and stuff like that checking in, and we see obviously the situation of Black Widow, where she's not quite got over the loss of half the population, the guilt of not succeeding in Infinity War. Again, looking into the characters of her, and obviously, as I did say, Captain America, what they're doing at that point, they can't get over it. They're still in the heroic mode, trying to help people out. So we get that, but the sprinkle
as well as that, John,
the humour in beautifully.
Hawkeye's, I don't remember what his persona was at this point.
I think it's Ronin. He goes off to Japan.
Just
and that was a great sequence.
I thought that was amazing. You know, just he's filled with this anger and you know, vengeance. And as you said, you know, we see that great sequence in Japan. We see Black Widow come to retrieve him. It's just a good moment. I just felt, I felt he was missed in Infinity War. He's a big part, you know, in Avengers, and I understand why he wasn't. It's quite well explained once you see it Endgame. But I just felt that moment was one of the sort of key moments in the film at that stage. Anyway,
it was. Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember, as I said, you know, there's a lot to digest here, John. I'm trying to remember.
We've only seen it once.
You know, everything in sequence, and sometimes we might go back and forth here, but
we will.
We'll do our best.
Yeah. After that, Stephen, I do believe, as I did say, we've got Bruce Banner trying to utilise time travel with Scott Lang getting back, but it's just a complete failure. He's coming back as a little baby, a younger version of himself. Yeah. Then it's a baby. Then it's an older version, and we do see that great humour again. Scott Lang saying, somebody's peed in my suit, and I'm not sure whether it's the baby version, the older version, or just me. And that was again a great moment. We realised that they do need the Tony Stark character. We know he's had the eureka moment.
Baby me,
old me, or me. That was a great.
That was good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Again, utilising Paul Rudd, a very funny man indeed. But we already know at that point that Tony Stark's cracked it. He's got the formula, and then he appears screeching in his car, and he also has that moment where he previously made up with Captain America. He says that, but I don't hold any grudges.
That's right, yeah.
But then he officially makes up with him, and they agree that they're going to do this. But they're not going to change the previous 5 years. They're just going to bring back the people that was lost.
They used Hawkeye as a guinea pig, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. No, he actually volunteered.
Yeah.
I think it was Scott Lang. He wasn't keen. And then, obviously, as you did say, Hawkeye volunteered. He went back, had a brief moment where he nearly seen his young daughter.
That's right, yeah.
And then he had to be whisked back out, and that, obviously, that was another emotional sucker punch for that character. But Stephen, I just really did enjoy the slowness of that early part of the film. I know you weren't as keen on it. I say I enjoyed it when I was watching it.
In the moment, I wasn't, John. Yeah. But as the film reached its climax, I got it then. I understood why it had to be done. Yeah,
in context, looking at the film after seeing it, I enjoyed it. But when I do agree with you watching it, I was a bit concerned that this is dragging a little. It's a little bit slow.
Yeah. I felt they were just explaining too much.
Yeah, when are we going to get into this action? But then when you look back as the film is finished as a whole, you realise what they were doing. They were slowing it down, showing what this had done to the various different characters, setting up the story going forward. Obviously, they realised time travel, utilising the quantum realm is a way to go, and then they dive right into that, and then we also get that great moment where they're meeting and they set up the plan. We realise where all these different Infinity Stones were at various points in the past, and they have 3 teams that go off and do various different jobs. We go back to 2014.
2012.
2012, first and foremost, the Avengers Assemble film. We've got Captain America. We have, I believe, Scott Lang, I want to say.
Yep.
And obviously Tony Stark.
Yep.
They go back to New York and they have that interaction with the Avengers Assemble sort of events. And I think Bruce Banner's there as well, because we have that great moment where he rips his shirt off. They tell him maybe smash some things up. And he half-heartedly smashes it up and he's roaring. That was very funny.
Yeah,
and it shows you, look, his heart's not in it anymore. He's developed as a character right after we see the Hulk character from Avengers Assemble. Literally in full-blown rage mode, smashing things up. And you did say, very coolly, that they still utilised the same visuals from the film for Hulk.
I was glad of that. I'm glad they didn't try to update it, John, because that was the way we remember Hulk.
Yeah.
It's still better than Ang Lee's Hulk, that sort of day-glow cartoon Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, and then obviously, Stephen, we've got the other teams. We've got them going off to, I forgot the bloody name already, the planet where the Soul Stone's at. We have Hawkeye and we have Black Widow going there. And then we have Nebula and we have, who was with Nebula? I think it was War Machine.
Yeah.
Go to the planet where Guardians of the Galaxy kicks off, and obviously we've got
one of
Peter
the things,
going to retrieve that
Yeah, John, one of the things at this point was just the detail. I don't know how much was intersliced with original footage from the previous films. I'm not really sure, but there was a lot of stuff from different angles and stuff like that. We noticed.
All very Back to the Future too, which they bash.
I thought it was they utilised it well though. The camera angles, the timing as well, and I've not seen Assemble for a number of years now.
I'm the same.
But
It's been a while.
when I saw this, I went, "Oh, right, yeah, that's right." And just to
I
see,
recall the room.
yeah, just to see that these characters in the now, watching on to these events for all of these sequences, I thought was well done. I thought it was. I'm not actually sure if a lot of it was done from the previous films, or if it was just reshot, or if it was just taken right out of those films.
I think the initial sequence where we have the original Avengers assembling in the middle of the street, that's from the Avengers Assemble film, but then I think the subsequent shots from different angles and stuff like that.
Yeah, the lift scenes and stuff like that.
The lift scenes, the shots through the sort of wooden panels, looking at Loki, the original Hulk and stuff, that's all, I think that's been shot from specifically for Endgame, and I really enjoyed that look at different angles. It's something I've been very interested in different films. We've seen it in obviously the likes of the Prisoner of Azkaban, I want to say. Might not have been, it may have been Order of the Phoenix. Harry Potter, we've seen them going back in time and seen different angles. We've seen it in Back to the Future too. So it was a very neat little trick, going back and revisiting these different time periods, different films. It was almost nostalgia. Trips back and seeing the different versions of the characters. We hear about Captain America's butt.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Yeah, it was funny, John. I thought that was really good.
It really is America's butt.
One of the things I liked as well, especially with Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, had this Eureka moment that Ant-Man just couldn't get his head round. He wasn't privy to this conversation.
They weren't letting him in it.
And we weren't either. We didn't know what they were talking about until they end up in the 1940s. We get Tony Stark, Steve Rogers at Steve Rogers' base, where Peggy Carter's base, I should say, where she's stationed, and we get to see Tony Stark,
his father,
Howard, meeting his father once more. I thought those scenes were excellently executed. Just the sort of dialogue between both these characters. There was a point where I was thinking Howard Stark is going to do the dirty on him. I did think. I don't know if you felt that, John, but I felt he's playing him here, and he's going to get him arrested before he can get away. But
initially when he grasped the stone, I felt like when he obviously interrupted him, ready
and we get to
escape.
see that emotional scene, Steve Rogers looking through the window. His room's darkened, isn't it? So she can't see him. But
and that's obviously Stephen again laying down where these two characters are going to go later in the film. It's great, sort of emotional character building. Obviously, I can't recall what you would call it, but it's laying the foundations. That's the word, for where these two characters are going later in the film. I know you says it, and I also agree. I realised at that moment that Tony Stark was going to obviously die at the end of the film, because he's just getting that great moment where he's having that chat with his father. They're discussing family life, having a child, and that just for me anyway, that told me he was going to bite the bullet. And then we see Captain America, as you did say, having that great sequence with Peggy Carter. He's looking through and he realises, Eureka moment, I can go back in time, and maybe if everything works out, I can go back and live the life I want to live, away from all of this nonsense and danger, with the person that I love. But just prior to that, Stephen, very briefly getting back, we have the moment, that great sequence with Robert Redford, his character, I forget his name, and obviously Loki, the sort of what would you call it, the brief little scuffle, where the stone gets retrieved by Loki and he disappears.
All because they made Hulk take the stairs.
All because they made Hulk take the stairs again. Great humour, breaking up these big, serious tension.
But it also shows
moments.
the sort of development in the character of Hulk, because as we know him, in that scene in the diner, he's getting selfies and all that.
I've totally
when you go back to the 2012 version, he's absolutely raging just because he's had to take the stairs. So it shows you the development.
Yeah, that selfie scene as well was great. Again, showing Scott Lang, he's like, you not want to take a photo.
At this moment as well, John, this is the point, in my head anyway, that I felt, surely they're not just going to get these stones this easy.
No.
Thanos is going to have to be able to, latch on to what they're scheming at least at this point. And thankfully, he did through Nebula. Through that.
At the time, I was like, good Lord, no.
I wanted conflict. At that point, I did want the conflict because I thought this is too easy. And thankfully, through Nebula's, it must be a recording system she's got.
Because she's got this sort of a biomechanical things going on within her. It was it was intertwining or tangling with the previous version, the past version and the future version.
This is when things are going to get a little confusing.
Yeah,
now.
and that allows Thanos and also that Get from the Black Order, I forget his name, to tap in and realise what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And he realises they're hatching a plan, and he decides he's going to try and throw a spanner in the works. I was in despair when he latched onto the plan, because I've got such an emotional connection with all these characters. I just wanted to see them retrieve the stones.
That would have made a terrible film.
Yeah, I know, it would have made a terrible film, and we wouldn't have got that incredible end to the film, Stephen. But look, we are going to quickly have to take a little break here, Stephen, because we're running out of recording time and we just have got more to say on this film. So we'll be back very shortly.
And the next part of this sequence, John, is obviously the sequence between Rocket and Thor.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where Thor actually breaks down, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and Rocket the Raccoon isn't the most sympathetic character, is he?
He's no, Stephen. He also get back to Asgard and he sees his mother.
Yeah.
And he knows it's the day his mother gets killed.
Yeah.
So he's saying, I can't do this, I can't do it. Also, he knows Natalie Portman's character from the original Thor, and obviously Thor the Dark World is in that room as well. So he's really conflicted. He's obviously in mental turmoil at this point anyway. As I did say, he's kind of depressed. He's fat. And a lot of people are saying they shouldn't have did this, they're fat shaming and stuff. I didn't take that at all.
Listen, I've got to be honest, John, something that came into my head was that speech, you know, way back at the very beginning of the film, with Thor giving his sort of pep talk. And he goes into this whole explanation of how he met Jane, and she's not my girlfriend anymore, and everyone's just looking at, what are you talking about?
She's an ex-flame or something like that.
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, but again, it showed us kind of a tinge with tragedy as well, though, Stephen, because you're seeing this dark recess that he is in, and he just can't shake himself out of it. And also Tony Stark's going over and trying to take him away and console him and stuff like that, and he's saying it's all right. But yeah, you're right, Stephen, that moment, again, you're seeing great humour. Rocket's obviously like, come on, snap into it, we can do this. Just as he's about to go through the door, and he's going through the plan, and he said again, right, I'll do this. Thor runs away. Yeah. And then there's a great moment with him and his mother. Yeah. We don't see much of the connection between Thor and his mother throughout all of the Thor films and previous MCU sort of versions. It's more him and Odin. Anthony Hopkins' character. So to see him share a moment with his mother, and she realises obviously right away, just purely from the shape he's in, but from his mental side, she can see that there's something not right with him. She's got a witch's eye. She can pinpoint that he's a future person. He actually says that. How do you know I'm from the future? Yeah, I'm from the future, and things like that. And again, although it's tinged with emotional aspects, and that you're seeing into this character's soul, and you feel for him, you've got this bond with him, they're utilising humour even in these moments. And I thought they really nailed, the Russo brothers really nailed the humour throughout the whole film. I thought it was beautifully written, Stephen, to essentially combine all of these arcs and condense it into a 3-hour sort of a running time. I thought it was absolutely tremendous the way they utilised it. But that scene, Stephen, getting back to that scene, again, the time travel, you're seeing it from different perspectives. We've seen Natalie Portman in the film, and that really surprised me.
Well, it kind of did, John, but there was something on the news last week that was kind of, they weren't giving any spoilers away, but the fact of the matter was Natalie Portman was on the red carpet at the world premiere. But I thought, I actually was trying to ignore it. I was thinking, I think everyone that's been involved in these 22 films is going to be there tonight, you know, and she just happens to be there. Yeah. I did hear there was a bit of conflict between Marvel and Natalie Portman after, I think, what's her name that directed Wonder Woman?
Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins was, removed from the Dark World, I think it was. I think she was originally the director on that. And I think there was a bit of a fallout. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I just thought she's there as a guest. She's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe family, and she's there and I didn't really read too much into it. So when she did appear on screen, yes, I was probably half surprised that she was there. Didn't have any dialogue. It was really just an appearance.
Well, thankfully I didn't see that news article or item, so I didn't realise she was on the carpet. So it was a complete surprise to me to see her. But again, it's much easier for him to get the stone, him and Rocket to retrieve the stone, because they've got his mother on side. So they get the stone, but then there's a really telling moment, which is really important going forward in the film, where Thor puts his hand out, Stephen, and calls on Mjolnir. And there's an interesting little thing again that goes into the psyche of Thor at that moment, where he says he obviously retrieves Mjolnir. It comes to his calling, and he says, "I'm still worthy." Yeah. So in his mind, he's feeling he's not worthy. He's feeling guilt-ridden about failing half the universe, not going for the headshot as you said earlier. Yeah. So that was an interesting little subtle look into where he was at that moment. But then he retrieves it, and it's really important going forward into the film because there's a certain character proves that he's worthy as well. But before we get to that, Stephen, we've obviously got the other team going away and try to retrieve two teams. Nebula, as you did say, she has an important part to play. She's almost like Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, of endangering the mission because she's biomechanical. Her thoughts and memories alert Thanos.
She's such a great character though, John, because when we were introduced to her in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1,
throw away.
She was almost two-dimensional. She was just one of Thanos's, not even Thanos, what's he called?
Ronan.
Ronan's henchwoman. You know, that's all she was there for.
They've really developed that character very well, Stephen. And Karen Gillan was, Karen Gillan again, brilliant performance. Yeah. There was a whole host of performances in this film, which really surprised me. Also, Scarlett Johansson was sublime in the early parts, really showing an emotional side.
Probably gone to that now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Scarlett Johansson. And obviously Black Widow and Hawkeye go to Vormir, I think it is, Vormir, and they meet Red Skull. Yeah. We know that they have to make a sacrifice. You says that there's a slight issue here, a slight gaffe, because they must have realised, one of the other Avengers, I think it may have been Hulk, you says, I'm not taking that.
It was either him or Rocket, I can't remember, but basically they didn't want to draw the short straw on that one.
No, we're not going to Vormir. And then after the event, when they realise that one of them has to make a sacrifice to retrieve the Soul Stone, Black Widow says, we know, or she realised that was going to have to happen anyway because Thanos came away from that planet with the Soul Stone without his daughter, so he had to make the sacrifice, obviously, of Gamora. Yeah. So that didn't make much sense to me. They went in blind, and then for me that maybe took away from that emotional turmoil and struggle. Well, it was still emotional seeing Black Widow pass away.
It was because it's one of those characters
that's been there from the beginning.
I've one of my favourite characters, but we already knew. Going back a year, we didn't know what was going to happen on that planet. We didn't understand really what they had to do to achieve.
Hugo Weaving's back again, or was it?
I don't know.
It wasn't the last time.
But we knew what had to be done this time, so it didn't come as much of an emotional surprise this time.
Yeah, it wasn't as
It was really just working out what one of the two it was going to be.
And as I said to you, Stephen, watching it, I realised pretty quickly that it wasn't going to be Ronin or Hawkeye. I realised it was going to be Black Widow. It was a sort of a eureka moment, I keep saying that, but it's clear to me her story now, her standalone film, is going to be a prequel setting up where this character came from, because we still don't know where she came from, unless it's obviously you're a comic book reader and you perhaps had it fleshed out. I've never read her backstory in the comics, so I'm still completely oblivious to where she came from, so that's going to be a prequel. So I realised, Stephen, it was still a great sequence. Obviously they two are fighting over who's going to sacrifice themselves. You can see the love they've got for each other, the connection, but ultimately Black Widow dies. That ends her character. I was very obviously sad to see her going, because it was a great performance. She set it up beautifully, but she did say, look, you see what I've not got anything, basically I've not got any family or anything like that now. I'm in this situation where I've got nothing to lose. I'll sacrifice myself. You've got a family to fight for, Hawkeye. And then obviously that takes us into the next sequence of films, but we'll briefly touch upon obviously the sequence with Star-Lord dancing.
Yeah, it was good to see
much
that again,
more uplifting and sort of a high-spirited part, running sequentially with that previous scene, which was full of despair and emotion. He's dancing, he's singing, you've got Come and Get Your Love playing, then it goes away and we hear Chris Pratt singing completely out of tune. Yeah. And then there's that moment when Nebula retrieves the stone, and then Thanos comes and stops her from
this is when we're introduced to Gamora again.
We're introduced to Gamora again, and we have that interesting dynamic of past Nebula, future Nebula, Gamora and Thanos, and them interplaying, and also the turmoil there.
The detail as well, John, we've got the likes of Gamora and Nebula from 2014.
The little gold plate.
We're getting those versions of them, you know, the the Gamora that wasn't. She was more uptight, when we were first introduced to her. You know, as we got the two Guardians films and how they developed, and then obviously in Infinity War, she was a different character at that point. She'd developed, she'd become a little bit more, looser,
likeable,
a bit more upbeat. And
Star-Lord had kind of a humanised in a lot of ways. And
shown her a bit,
Yeah. I knew he was going to have to do that all again, which is going to be interesting getting into these future Guardians films.
Yeah.
But look, Stephen, really enjoyed that sequence. Obviously, of her proving, I tried the past Nebula, trying to prove she's worthy to Thanos. She does it. Although I did say to you, there was a moment that left me scratching my head, and there's perhaps some moments like that in this time travelling aspect. They've broadly brushed over it and gave us a decent explanation for the time travelling. But how does Nebula retrieve the vial, the Hank Pym vial of particles, which is making this time travel possible? How does she retrieve that from the future Nebula? Able to go back with the other Avengers, but then give a vial to Thanos to make his appearance
Did he
in the
not
future
hold
possible.
it at one point? Did they not hold one of those containers at one point? And he had a kind of a look in his face.
Yeah, she gave him it. Yeah, Nebula handed it to him. So how's that possible? We've been getting told throughout the film that there's only enough to do a round trip for each individual. So that's a little thing that kind of grated on me slightly. Although
I would have to see the film again.
Yeah, we've only seen it once. There's perhaps an explanation in there, Stephen. I may be doing them at the surface. I think we've probably made sure there isn't any glaring things like that in there. But look, that takes us on to the next sequence, Stephen. We go into the future again. They're all coming back. We've perhaps missed something, but
well, I think what at this point, John, is when they've retrieved the stones. We're back at the
Avengers base,
and we see that the Nebula, the evil Nebula, we'll call her. I think both of them.
I don't think she's even evil, to be fair, though, because if we do see at the end,
she's got a reason. She's trying to get approval of,
she
make
feels that Thanos will never let her be anything other than what she is. She's always going to have to be fighting.
And we see her tinkering with the, I think that's her sending the coordinates to Thanos.
To let her know where.
And Bruce Banner's the one that's got to wear the gauntlet.
Yeah.
He's the only one strong enough. Although Thor does.
I'm the strongest Avenger. Not Brie Larson or Captain Marvel. I'm the strongest Avenger. And he's right, because I do recall seeing Stan Lee saying it was between Thor and Hulk. And I think ultimately, I think he says Thor was the strongest. I slightly disagree there, but I'm not going to disagree with Stan Lee. But I think I read somewhere that Hulk there's no limit to his strength. He can only be as strong as he is angry. But look, I digress. I'm not getting flung off into tangents. We've not got time for that, Stephen.
And we get Bruce Banner clicking his fingers.
Bruce Banner clicks his fingers. And there's a great moment where you're like, is he strong enough to withhold this?
Yeah.
Because I think he says it's neurons or something. No, not neurons. It's
Gamma.
Gamma. So he's the only guy that can take it. He snips his finger. I keep saying snips. He snaps his finger.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to. Well, we know it goes back to previous because we see the phone ringing. We see the birds on the tree.
Yeah. Clint answers the phone. It's his wife. She's back.
Is it Scott Lang? It goes out into the corridor and looks at the windows. And then as that happens, Thanos comes through the portal and starts.
This takes us into the third act of the film.
Shooting down onto the base, and that takes us into the third act. And what a third act it is, Stephen. Perhaps the greatest third act of any Avengers.
John,
without a doubt, any Avengers. But
listen, I know I'm coming fresh off the cinema here, but. This is probably one of the greatest action sequences in cinematic history. It really is.
It really is.
This is coming from a guy only a few days ago was saying about the Godzilla film being too busy. That's a trailer. Once I see Godzilla, I know I'm going to eat my words. But listen, the way they did this third act was absolutely amazing.
Unbelievable.
The amount of characters they're dealing with here, the amount of sequences. Just the handling of this whole sequence and the look of it, the tone of it, the pace of it, everything, and Alan Silvestri's music, which we haven't mentioned yet. We'll probably do that at the very end, John.
Extraordinary.
But everything just about this third act gave everybody what they wanted. This is what we've been waiting for the last 365 days. Just everything about it. The other thing that just before we get into that final act as well, John, this was when we finally got to see Thanos. What he was really all about. In Infinity War, he was always on about it's for the good of the universe, it's for the good of the universe. this is why I'm doing it. And people saw it from his side. They understood he doesn't see himself as the bad guy.
No.
And this he does, because he actually does say, I think you're better quoting it than me, John, in regards to the handling of these characters that are doing his head in.
Yeah, they're these niggling little gits, basically. But yeah, there's a great line. I'm trying to remember it. I think I'll probably butcher it, Stephen, but it's essentially, in all of my conflict, all of my slaughtering, all of the battles and stuff like that, it was never once personal.
Yeah.
But now it is.
Yeah.
He's essentially saying, I was always about parity, half of the universe, taking it away, so it would be for the greater good of the universe. But now he wants to take it down to a single atom, and then regrow it.
That was the first moment I knew this man is pure evil. He is absolutely, I'm saying man, this creature, I don't know what it is, this being is pure evil. There is a second part that confirms that, which we'll get to, John. But this is when he basically lets the floodgates open, his army just come through, their portals or wherever they're coming through. You see them coming from the sky, you see them coming through, from the horizon. They're just,
Black Order.
And you just think, this is it, this is it.
But the shot prior to that, Stephen, of him sitting with his sort of a weapon and the helmet on it, just sitting waiting on for Iron Man and Captain America.
That was an important sequence as
that
well.
Was
John.
Incredible. It just shows you the confidence of a guy.
Yeah.
He knows
and the strength as
that there's not anybody that's really bested him in combat. And
this is without the gauntlet as well, remember?
And also we've got that running thing with the gauntlet going on with Hawkeye and Nebula. We get the moment where the past Nebula is shot and killed.
Yeah.
With the future. And Gamora once again proves she is the ultimate good in this, in terms of that side of things. She's essentially been plucked straight from the story of Guardians of the Galaxy, but she realises, look, the right thing to do is to side with these guys, not her father or her adoptive father.
I think that line from Nebula put that in her head, though, in regards to you don't know what he's going to do to you,
Yeah, and she also asks her, and she gives her an explanation and stuff like that. What became of us, I think she said, and she says we became friends, we became sisters. So that shook her out of that mentality. But that was a great scene. But as you did say, Stephen, just the way they utilised all these various different characters, the way they built it into that climatic battle. We see Scott Lang, Ant-Man, becoming a ginormous version. He saves Rocket, he saves
Hulk as well.
Hulk, I think War Machine.
War Machine, yeah.
And then we see, obviously, Captain America. That sequence as well with Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor battling Thanos. That was extraordinary. And as I did say, the moment with Mjolnir, Thanos, Thor retrieving Mjolnir, proving himself worthy. We see Captain America proving he is worthy. He is able to handle Mjolnir. And Jesus Christ, that sequence.
What was it Thor said again?
You are worthy, I knew it, or something along those lines. I knew it. That was an incredible sequence.
And just before we get to that, probably the best bit in the film for us, John, was the bit when he'd already beaten Iron Man, he'd already beaten Thor. Captain America was on the ground at this point. Belts up his shield, stands his ground, and just at that point we see all these Doctor Strange portals all open up. And this point, this is when Alan Silvestri's music,
Portals, I've already listened to it. Incredible music.
Amazing.
Utterly
amazing.
Extraordinary. It sets the scene.
I'm actually, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it just now.
Extraordinary.
It was absolutely amazing.
It was reminiscent of Thor appearing in Wakanda in Infinity War. Sets the tone magnificently for what is to come.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
Wow, just thinking about it.
It's just so incredible, this sequence, as you did say. For me, I agree, the greatest action sequence in cinematic history. Just the sheer scale, all of the different bodies, and yet it doesn't deter you. You're not confused as to what's happening, perhaps like you were at the end of Aquaman, where it was just chaos. There were so many things. And this, it's all, despite it being a massive battle with all these thousands of things flying around and on the ground, it's compartmentalised. You've got different groups, and we have that emotional moment where Peter Parker reunites with Iron Man. I was nearly crying, Stephen. I can't lie.
It was amazing.
I was nearly crying.
Amazing, John.
When
just
he hugs him.
See Doctor Strange, as you said, Spider-Man coming out.
Black Panther,
Scarlet Witch as well, which I was quite saddened by that character because of we clearly weren't getting to see Vision again.
No.
We might see him.
I think he'll
might crop up in the future, but just to see that character again. Her taking on, this is the point 2 I was going to talk about. Her taking on Thanos, she was nearly there, and he knew it. He knew that she was a match for him, and that's when he asked You know, he's
guns to start
firing, regardless of.
And that's the point, Stephen, when you realise he's a mad titan. Yeah. That is his nickname. He is an evil character.
And it's
because
for him.
I keep forgetting the guy's name, the Black Order guy who can manipulate and obviously things and bring. He says to him, but your own soldiers are going to die.
Get Captain Marvel coming in as well at this
point. Captain Marvel comes in. Who are they shooting at? I
forgot.
I forgot as well, Steve.
That, you know?
Yeah, and then she comes in, and it's a spectacular sequence.
It's a great introduction.
When she comes through the ship, and you see the power of her. But despite her being supremely powerful, Stephen, and she comes on and almost overwhelms Thanos, he just slaps her away.
Yeah.
He slaps her away, and he's just...
At this point, I was getting annoyed with him at this point.
Yeah.
I really was.
I'll not repeat what I said to you, Stephen. It's just so annoying how incredibly strong this guy is. He's taken on so many different characters.
Doesn't tire, you know.
He doesn't tire, and he's just swatting them away, and he gets his hand on the gauntlet 3 times, I think. And I think it gets took off him by Captain Marvel, then it's Iron Man, and then he gets it on his hand.
Well, at that point, that's the point when Thanos gets the gauntlet back on. And Doctor Strange basically tells him this is the moment.
Because prior to that, Stephen, Iron Man asked Doctor Strange, is this the one? You told me 14 million, I think, to 1. Is this the one? And he says, if I tell you, then it'll not happen. Yeah. And then that moment where he's putting his finger up saying one, it's like, this is it. We're on course here to do it. That was an incredible moment. I really do love Benedict Cumberbatch.
I love the visuals. See the visuals with the stones connecting to the Iron Man glove, and then his line, John.
Stephen, I'm briefly going to go back actually, because there's an important moment here where we say this is the moment and all the time travel and stuff and what's going on. We see I forget her name, the bald character from Doctor Strange, talking about the timelines and what effect that has.
That was a good scene, John, how they explained that, because as I said to you, the Nebula future killing the Nebula past confused me a little, but that scene
that explained it. It's just when you said Doctor Strange, that was a great moment where she explains what's going on.
The banner,
the line, I'm inevitable, but and then also Tony Stark says, "You're inevitable, but I'm I can't even speak. I'm that excited. Try to count it. You are inevitable, but I am Iron Man." And that was a fantastic moment. And obviously, he gets the gauntlet. He thinks he's snapping everybody out of existence. Iron Man retrieves it. It starts coming up onto his hand, and he snaps his fingers. Yeah. And so brings the end of one of the great characters in cinematic history, Stephen, obviously Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.
Well, Thanos as well, John.
Thanos as well. That was a spectacular moment of poetic justice.
It was so slow, you know, the way he dusted away.
Well, they all dust before him, Stephen. He just goes down on his knee, and then he slowly dusts away. He accepted it. Yeah. Perhaps some would say better than the likes of Peter Parker and whatnot. He accepted it like a true valiant warrior. Yeah. But that's it. I mean, it was just an incredible scene, Stephen. We can't forget the moment where Spider-Man is perhaps made to look a little bitch. Well, that annoyed me slightly, Stephen. I can't lie.
I said to you,
it did annoy me.
He's mothered, you know. He's mothered, you know, with all his aunties around.
Don't get me wrong. It was a great moment to see all of these powerful female characters coming together.
You've got to remember at this point, Spider-Man or Peter Parker is still very young. He's not grown into the character that we
because
know.
Spider-Man, we know, he's a God-given character. He's akin to a Thor. He's got God-given abilities. He's a very powerful character. To see him cowering in the ground with the gauntlet and then essentially being saved with Captain Marvel and whatnot, slightly grated on me. But look, it was a great moment seeing all of the female, sans obviously Black Widow, all of these great female characters unleashing hell. That was a great moment. Not doing it down. But look, Stephen, after that we obviously see the end of the film start
the aftermath,
to play out. We have an emotional moment with Pepper Potts and Tony Stark. She puts her hand on his chest and it says conditions critical or something along those lines.
She says you're going to be alright.
You're going to be alright. You can finally rest now or something like that. Again, nearly crying, Stephen. It's the end. He's one of my favourite characters.
The music as well. The music at that point
very powerful. Yeah. And then it goes into the funeral sequence and again I'm nearly crying, Stephen, when we've got I forget his name, Jon Favreau's character.
Lucky? No, I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. He's with his daughter. Yeah. And they ask her, "Do you want something to eat?" She says, "I want a cheeseburger." And he says, "Tony, like your father liked cheeseburgers. I'll get you all the cheeseburgers you would want." So that was
It was a
very emotional sequence, Stephen. And we see all of the characters around for the funeral. They're all standing, looking forlornly out into obviously the I think it's a lake. I'm pretty sure it's a lake.
Yeah.
And it sets up various different, but we've got various different ends going on in the film. There's sort of a fake endings here. That happens, and then we see Captain America getting back. There's a great moment there, Stephen, with that character. We slightly called it.
Yeah.
I thought it may be Tony Stark going off into the sunset, but then I changed my mind. Initially, I thought it was Captain America. And then in my last show, I thought it was
Happy
Tony.
Hogan. It was Happy Hogan and John Favreau.
Yeah,
I was thinking Logan Lucky. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Logan Lucky. But look, it swept. They done the switcheroo. Tony Stark died, and it's Captain America.
Yeah.
Who goes off into the sunset. As I did say earlier in the film, he has a moment with not Pepper Potts, Jesus Christ, Peggy Carter.
Yeah.
And he realises that I can have this life. He goes back to replace all of the stones in their rightful timelines, and then he goes and lives his life with her. And we get that great payoff where he's sitting as an old man. He must be about 100.
Yeah.
And he passes the shield over to Falcon, which was a fantastic sequence.
Yeah.
And also
the aging of Chris Evans was fantastic. We forgot to mention obviously the de-aging of
Michael Douglas
was fantastic as well in the scenes in the 40s. But overall, John, an amazing experience.
Yeah.
You know, this 22 films, 11 years of hard work paid off. It really did pay off for me. It was the film. It was everything the film I thought it should be, and it was. During the film, I was having my doubts, but by the end of it, I understood why they did certain things. Everything about it, the score throughout.
Stunning.
Alan Silvestri is just an amazing composer. You know, he's got he's got a trademark. Sometimes you'll hear bits that remind you of films like Castaway,
yeah.
or films like Forrest Gump. Bits of Back to the Future might be in there as well, but he's just an amazing composer, and you take that away. That's a big part of the film. That's a big part of the emotional experience as well.
Yeah, Stephen, I completely agree with everything you've said. I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of the film. I thought they nailed it in hindsight. The quieter moment really did allow us to enjoy that big bombastic ending, the payoff, all the more, because it set the stones in place for all these characters, the emotional resonance. Obviously we had that baggage anyway because we were connected to these characters over 22 films, 11 years. But it really, within the self-contained story, it set it beautifully. These characters going into, as we did say, for me, the greatest action sequence of cinematic history. I thought the villain of Thanos was just extraordinary as well.
It was worthy,
just a great, not a black and white, good and bad guy. As you did say, he went full evil at the end, but he was a fantastically complicated character. You could understand his reasonings. You could see his side of things, although I didn't agree with it. And just the way they utilised all of these different characters, it could have been convoluted, it could have went horrendously wrong. To condense this all into a 3-hour story was absolutely magnificent. I can't praise the Russo brothers enough. As a fan of this, I thought it was the perfect ending to the Infinity Saga. I can't wait to see where it goes now. Obviously, we've got Thor. We get that great comedic scene at the end with Thor as well. We know who's in charge here. We know who's in charge, and it's just amazing. That bickering between Peter Quill and obviously Thor is going to be magnificent going forward into the cosmic side, the Guardians of the Galaxy. All these different characters we see, obviously Spider-Man, Peter Parker going away and doing his thing. So it's going to be great getting into the 4th phase of the MCU, but it's a sad ending to the 3rd phase, seeing the end of Tony Stark and also the end of Steve Rogers, Captain America. But look, I loved it, Stephen. I can't say any more. I really enjoyed the film. It was everything I wanted, everything about it. The development, the music, the action sequences, everything, just the utilisation of time travel. Couldn't have asked for any more. I don't know if you've got anything more to add, so we'll round up our spoiler-rific review of Avengers Endgame. What did you guys make of the film? Did you enjoy it as much as us? What was your take on the slower start? Did you enjoy it? Did you like the emotional resonance? Did you enjoy the climatic battle at the end? Is it the greatest action sequence in cinema history, the greatest battle? What did you make of the film? Let us know in the comments below. What did you make of Tony Stark dying? If you liked the video, the spoiler review, like the video, of course. That'd be a great thing to do. Don't dislike it, please. Or if you feel you need to dislike it, you can dislike it as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content, and we'll be back tomorrow with movie